Hello, everyone. It's Adrian from the Pageant Project with you. I've got my special guest, Casey Gibson from the Crowning Moment podcast, as per usual. Casey, how are you? Good morning.
I'm good. I woke up literally 15 minutes ago, and I won't lie, I slept in my makeup. I was not feeling getting up early this morning and doing it, so I was just excited to get online that I literally slept in the makeup.
Well, we are happy to have you here. I guess we'll go straight into it. So, guys, we have the final day of the presentation of delegates. We have only 15 countries to go through today. First one will be my home country, Australia. So I will recuse myself from judging Australia because I think that's only fair. And South Africa as well is someone that I've interviewed before. So I'll give feedback but won't score. Just a reminder that these videos are supposed to be really about the contestants, not so much about their advocacies or their countries. And that's the word from Miss Earth itself. And I'll be trying to work out who my favorite title holder would be from a 2 to 3 minute video, which is obviously not going to be an exact science. We had some very, very strong videos yesterday. Although for Casey it was yesterday, for me it was earlier today. It's 11 p.m. here. Casey has just woken up, so the time zone difference is doing my head in. But Casey, shall we get to it?
Let's do it. Let's start with Australia.
All right, here we go.
My name is Helen Bessinia Latukefu. I'm Miss Earth Australia, and I am a woman of the earth. No, literally. Both hemispheres of this world beat in my genes. My parents both carry Tongan and Scottish heritage, but every cell in my body and every freckle on my face was formed in and of Australia. Recently, I completed my Bachelor's of Science at the University of New South Wales, majoring in ecology. Studying ecology, I've gotten to track dingoes with satellites, hike up and down dunes in the desert, and navigate through swamps. But there is no place I love more than our desert landscapes. I love being off-grid and connected to the land. It is the most humbling experience. Studying ecology for me was learning how to love our earth better. Love starts with understanding. I'm also a spoken word poet. I write a lot about love and nature and have had the opportunity to perform at the Opera House in Sydney. In my day job, I teach people about water conservation for Sydney Water. Lately, about how we can secure our water supply with droughts predicted to increase in the future. I love to teach in a way that makes science easy to understand. Behind all the things I get up to, at heart, I am a girl from Guildford, one of the most multicultural but also disadvantaged communities in Australia. Here, I grew up in a single mother household with my Uncle Big. I'm the eldest of 7, and I love my younger brothers. At every footy game or performance, you will hear me cheering for them the loudest. Growing up, we didn't have much, but because of this, sustainability came quite naturally. My mum always encouraged us to make the most of what we had, to step away from the trends and focus on being genuine with good intentions. I'm 23, but I've been through many challenges in my life. The resilience of nature has always inspired me and humbled me through difficult times. But I'm grateful for my experiences because I think they make me a better caretaker of our earth and a more empathetic human. And as my family says, peace and love, everybody.
Guys, sorry, I think we had the Miss Earth theme song still playing over Helen's video, which also had its own music, which is why you were getting this weird, at least I was getting this weird kind of dissonance with two soundtracks going on. I hope Miss Earth remembers to turn their audio off. But obviously from my hometown, and I actually think from my home state as well, Casey, just so you know, Guildford is probably, I think, 45 minutes drive from where I'm at. I'm very familiar with the layout of these train stations. And I actually have something in common with Helen here, apart from being Australian. I've actually performed in the Opera House as well. So that was impressive. I think we used the word wholesome a lot yesterday or earlier today. And I think, again, this is one of those. And Helen obviously is someone I think who walks her talk. she seems to have taken up a career path that makes her completely suitable for Miss Earth. And I think she spoke pretty well. I wouldn't have minded a little bit more, maybe excitement in the voiceover is all. That's a very small thing, and that's certainly something that can be worked on. But I thought a really solid presentation to start our night off, or to start Casey's morning off. Casey, your thoughts?
Yes, no, I agree, and it's really interesting because I wanted to hear what your thoughts were, visuals, what you saw, being from Australia, being
Mm,
from where, 45 minutes from where she's from. I always just wonder because, like, with the US, when I looked at Danielle's video, I think of like, oh, okay, maybe I know where that's at, or that's a great representation of what the US looks like from, bird's eye view. So I always like to see like when it's something like this, especially Australia, because I just know you love Australia. So I was excited to see a little bit of that. But along with, I do think her voice, it didn't have any sort of excitement. It just felt very,
bit
very, it was a
flat.
good calming voice, but it
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was a bit flat when it came to the excitement of I'm competing at Miss Earth. I do think that she seems like a really kind-hearted person.
Mm,
And that's something that I think she had to grow into because it seems like she had a lot of, obstacles to overcome as a child, living in a single parent home, but I feel like she had a really good family support system around her, and that's where and how it's formed her into who she is today. So I'm excited to see more about her in her other videos, hopefully a little bit more
yeah.
excitement. To start my morning off, that would be I
Yeah.
need some pop. I need like a Russia video to start my morning off.
Do you have your coffee with you? You haven't taken any coffee. Do you have?
I realized my coffee is on the other side of the room, so I hadn't got up to get it yet, but I'll probably take a break in
You
between our next one.
You okay? So I mean, yeah, you feel free to go and get it. We don't want you collapsing right then and there. But if you, the thing with Australia, and I'll just talk about this briefly, guys, because it is my home country. So what you see behind Helen in the background is very typical Australia, Sydney, and you can see it's much like any other urban city. Where she's at is very nice and leafy. And then if you saw some of the footage, I think particularly where the drone was and that deep red dirt, that really only occurs in the middle of Australia. But a fun fact about Australia is it's the most urbanized country in the world, meaning that our population, I think, is 90 or 95% located in only 3 cities. And they're all on the East Coast. And you probably know them all: Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. I think it's 90 to 95% of our entire population, which is about 23 million in the country, is just in those 3 cities. So it's a very Australia is the size of the United States geographically, but it's got about 1/10 of the population. So we're very, very spread out. And most of the center of Australia is a giant desert, which is where you saw that red dirt. But yeah, that's my hometown. That's where I'm from. Mighty Mikey has said, I am enjoying hearing your comments. Thank you, Mikey, for tuning in. Ralph is here as always. Ralph, I don't know
Good
how you get to
morning,
watch
Ralph.
absolutely everything, but good. Hello, Ralph. And Mikey's also said, these women are well accomplished. Yeah. I mean, I can only just remember sort of yesterday's presentation because that's what's fresh in my mind. And, we've had doctors, we've had professional dancers, and someone who spoke in front of the UN. So they're definitely well accomplished. Casey, you got your coffee?
I'm ready to go. I paused my screen and I had
Yeah.
to give me a nice cup. It's not the best, but it will do for now.
Okay. All right. So moving on, we've got Belgium.
And as my family says, peace and love, everybody.
Growing up surrounded by the gentle wisdom of my farming grandparents in a charming rural setting was like being part of a heartwarming storybook. Picture a landscape painted in vibrant greens, where the smell of the earth and the soft rustling of leaves created a melody that played in the background of my memories. I am the middle child of 3 sisters and always stood out for my energy and passion for fashion. My family, cousins, and the time we spent together were precious, making my childhood extra special. At the age of 10, I discovered my talent for rope skipping. Winning a gold medal added a special sparkle to my achievements. However, a serious knee surgery changed my athletic path, reminding me that life can take unexpected turns. Navigating the challenge of middle school brought about struggles with self-esteem. Yet participating in Miss Pageants became a turning point. These glittering stages were more than spotlights and sashes. They became places of self-discovery and resilience. Now I cherish that self-assuredness and aim to inspire it in others.
I really like that little bit where she was swiping through her phone and then on screen was actually swiping through the same photos. I mean, she's a gorgeous looking girl, but she also sounds like she has a very kind voice. I
Mhm.
think she would be
I
a
agree.
really, really nice person just to be around. And I really like the way she structured the story. Wasn't too long, got straight to it, told us a few anecdotes, and yet also visually managed to show us some parts of, I assume that's Belgium, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Probably doesn't look like that now. That's probably in spring or something. But really, really lovely video. Casey.
I feel like this girl that we're seeing here is someone that has a deeper story. And it's just
Mm,
every time I see the video like this where it's like, you gave me everything I needed, but you still left me wanting more. And I
yeah.
think that she talked about having a knee surgery. And I know personally from friends that have had to deal with that kind of thing. That's a really tough recovery time and or
Mm,
just a really tough time in general because now you're relying on others. And so now I feel like she's someone that now has seen that and is now willing and happily giving back to those around her just because of such
yeah.
a terrible situation. But yeah, I really liked her. She just seems so kind and
Yeah.
just a very well-rounded person. She can be athletic, she can be beautiful, she can be, just casually hanging out. And that's what I like seeing these videos. I think this was a really well put together production. The
Mm,
music just smoothly moved along with her voice, which kept me entertained the entire time. But I liked her. That was awesome. It was a good one.
yeah. I'd love to have heard more now that I'm just looking at the digital expert part, because obviously we're both in digital media and all that sort of thing.
Yes.
And every time I see something like this, I'm like, let's talk about that because I'm weird. I love talking about all the social media and the marketing and things like that. But I agree with you. I think there's probably more there, and I'm hoping that we'll find that out throughout the pageant. But I think she might be a dark horse, so to speak. We've had some really big heavyweights like Colombia, Philippines yesterday, but I think Belgium might be a dark horse. All
I
right.
also wonder, before we get started, I also
Yeah,
wonder, she had showed like videos on stage and stuff. So I wonder if Belgium is another multi-crown pageant
could potentially be. It
because
was a
we
really
didn't see the.
striking costume she was wearing. It's like a purple, like a purple hood almost.
Mhm. Yeah, so I wonder if there's almost like similar to other national pageants where they have to do a speaking on stage in a costume that represents whether I guess the country or whatever the pageant
Mm,
stands for as like their color of peace or whatever it may be. So I wonder, it's just because that's something I'm really starting to pick into more as we see different
yeah,
countries. She may have been second runner up, but that doesn't mean that she wasn't good enough to then go to another international system because they were able to divvy up
yeah,
the different international titles. So I wonder if Belgium's another one. I'll have to do some deeper research because I feel like she
yeah.
has lots of potential. Lots of potential
I
here.
think, yeah, I think that's becoming a more and more common practice as the sort of numbers of pageants grow. But it's getting harder and harder to run them profitably in person for the directors, and so they're forced to run one big pageant and give out multiple titles or multiple crowns. I think Canada, I think Canada, almost all the titles except Universe are under one directorship now. So I think World, Earth, International, and Grand are all under one director, and Universe is the only one that's not. So it is a practice. I think that's spreading. Ralph here has said, "I always enjoy your interviews and guests. Keep up the awesome job." Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph.
Okay, who's next? Bosnia and Herzegovina. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Verica Mihailovic and I am Miss Earth Bosnia and Herzegovina. I am only 18 years old. I'm going to medical high school and when I finish school, I plan to enter university. I would like to work in journalism and management as well. In the pictures are my parents and my brother who are my biggest supporters. I have been modeling, dancing and singing since I was a child. They recognized my modeling talent at a young age. Hiking is my great passion and I enjoy learning new languages. Bosnia and Herzegovina has a lot of potential for visiting various natural destinations. I am very excited to represent my country at such a large competition, and I will do my best in the following videos to present my country and myself in the best possible light. I really hope you enjoy my presentation. As I take on this responsible role, I genuinely hope that my presentation will entertain you and earn your trust. Thank you.
I think that was one of the most honest presentations we've seen. I mean, she's only 18, so at that age, you're kind of, I hope it earns your trust. That's not something that we've heard before, but that's really sweet. I love the visuals in this video, that one where she's in that flowing dress and then this mountain landscape behind her, absolutely stunning. And I really like the way she did the photos as well, like hooked up with the pegs and just literally going through that. We've seen fancier transitions and that, obviously. But I thought that was, again, we're overusing the word wholesome, but I really, really enjoyed that. So yeah, Casey.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well. And I like that she went ahead and just like set the expectations of, I hope that you learn to trust me. I hope that in the following videos you'll see more and be able to hear more about my beautiful country. And where is Bosnia for our geographical maps of this morning?
Guys watching, don't crucify me. My knowledge of Europe is very, very poor geography in general. I believe Bosnia and Herzegovina is near Croatia or the Croatia, Czech Republic, and Serbia. I believe it's somewhere in that block.
Yeah,
Don't hold me to
bordering.
that.
I've Googled bordering
Okay.
Southeast Europe in the Balkans, sorry. And then
Right.
bordering Serbia in the east, Croatia. Yeah. Interesting. I had never, I mean, obviously I heard of Bosnia, but I'd never heard of
Yeah.
Herzegovina.
Yeah, if you go back into the history of it, I believe there was a history of conflict, quite a severe one. So, and I think after that, the country split up and adopted slightly different names. But I'm by no means an expert. But you can tell, I think, even from this little clip that you see on screen, it's a country that's steeped in history. Like, it goes way back. I tell people, like, going back to Australia, white Australia anyway was only founded in 1788. So the country is white country is only barely over 200 years old. And then you go to countries like this and you can sit in a pub that's over 200 years old. That's something that really struck me in the United Kingdom. You could sit in a pub. It's like established in 1600. And like, wow. So yeah, it looks like an absolutely beautiful country. But coming back to the contestant herself, I thought, very, very humble, sounded like, and very honest in what she wanted from you guys watching, which is your guys' trust, which I thought was very, very sweet. How can we see Australia again? Shane, go. You won't be able to see it with us. If you go to the Miss Earth YouTube page or the Facebook page, she's the very, very first presentation on tonight. So we covered her. But yeah, go to the Miss Earth YouTube page. Or stay here with us, watch the rest, and then go back and you can hear our thoughts. All right, so that's Bosnia and Herzegovina. Next one is Cameroon.
Thank you.
Once there was a little girl from Cameroon who lived in a little village called Ekundotiti. She was blessed with a loving and caring family that knew the importance of education in her life. Although she had the opportunity to attend the best schools in her village, she faced a lot of bullying and body shaming because of her slim body. But this little girl was determined to write her own story and paint it bright.
I am Atem Noela, Miss Earth Cameroon, and I'm that little girl.
I am 26 years old and I hold a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Boyer. My mother is a teacher at an orphanage. Spending time with these kids reminds me a lot of my school days when I was bullied and body shamed. This motivated me to study psychology to enable me guide and counsel children and motivate children who might be going through similar situations in school. My passion for environmental protection began at a very early age My father loves fruits. He planted a lot of trees around our house, and he taught us how to care for these trees to keep our environment clean and to enable these trees produce fruits for us every year. In 2021, I got the opportunity to share my story and create awareness on afforestation and climate change through the Miss Beach platform, which is a national pageant focused on preserving the environment. I remain truly grateful for this opportunity to carry my advocacy on this platform as Miss Earth Cameroon. I look forward to showcasing my country's culture and ecotourism to the rest of the world.
Since
Like a really humble young lady.
Mhm.
And to your point, Casey, seems like probably has someone who has a story. We heard a little bit about it there, but I'm sure that's something that we'll learn more about as she progresses in the pageant. And I really do love to see someone out there in the dirt, planting the trees, getting dirty in the mud, so to speak, and really helping those young children. I think that's really heartwarming, and I love seeing a pageant contestant out there actually working rather than just being clammed up all the time. Although obviously there's an occasion for that. Casey.
No, I really like this video too. Being able to see what Cameroon looks like in the background of all of her videos and talking about how her family also gives back to their environment and the community, I think was a
Mm,
nice little touch to add in there. Obviously, we love seeing everyone's countries, but for Cameroon, I've never actually seen much of it. So that was kind of
mm,
nice to see the different types of trees, the wildlife look that it has there was really nice to see. And she does seem like a really wholesome, kind-hearted person. I do think this is another onion. She has layers that she is going to pull back and show us sooner or later, but I think that she has a fire in her that
mm.
hasn't been unleashed yet. And so I'm excited to see what she has coming soon. As I was before I became an engineer, I was a psychology major, and that really taught me about how to deal with different people and different personalities. And so I always give props to our psychology people because they really read you and they read the room before anyone else can. So I'm excited to see what, she does in the future coming into Miss Earth with all the different cultures and personalities that she's about to be intertwined with. So that'll be pretty cool to see as well.
I did not know you were a psychology major, but that makes a lot more sense as to how you can interview, because generally engineers have the people skills of, well, it's all men basically. That'll tell you all you need to know. You were a psychology major, were you? That's
Yes.
cool.
So I was education first. I was going to do
Okay.
history and English was my areas I was going to work in. And then I decided after my freshman year, I did not want to be teaching the youth of America. I didn't trust myself enough to be teaching the youth
Fair
of
enough.
America. And then I switched into psychology when I transferred. And then I realized I was going to have to be a doctor of psychology to even be able to afford to live in America. So then I said, no, I'll go into an area that I know I can excel in, which was technology, because my family is really good tech people. So yeah, very different things within that to
Wow.
where I finally found myself. But yeah,
Okay.
craziness.
I should say, guys, obviously this is on my YouTube channel as well. And when Casey does her videos, we'll swap over and we'll broadcast on her channel. But if you do want to go and follow Casey, because I know a load of you've been following me, which I really appreciate, you can see her handle there at Crowning Moment Podcast, and I'm sure she'd love to have you along there. Psychology. Well, I feel like I've learned something about you. I don't need to review you or rate you, so that's good. Let us move on to the Dominican Republic.
Ecotourism to the rest of the world.
Xin Chao, Vietnam, soy Eliane Capellán. Soy empresaria y modelo con estudios avanzados en arquitectura y comunicación social. Lo más importante es que me siento orgullosa y honrada de representar a la República Dominicana en la edición 2023 del concurso de belleza internacional Miss Tierra. Mi compromiso con las causas ambientales ha desarrollado mi liderazgo cuando se trata de defender la protección de nuestros océanos. Mi lugar feliz es junto a mi comunidad, recogiendo basura y participando para acabar con la contaminación de plásticos. Para ello, he trabajado durante años
junto a instituciones como la Alcaldía de Samaná y la Fundación Vida Azul. Estar también fuertemente comprometida con el empoderamiento de las mujeres me ha llevado a convertirme en la orgullosa embajadora de la iniciativa Ecobolsos en el hermoso pueblo de Las Galeras, una asociación de mujeres que confecciona bolsos con ropa reciclada. Mi ciudad natal, la península de Samaná, es considerada uno de los mejores lugares del mundo para el avistamiento de las ballenas jorobadas. Estas majestuosas ballenas vienen todos los años para bendecirnos con el nacimiento de sus crías. Con el aumento de la conciencia sobre el ecoturismo y los viajes sostenibles, les alegrará saber que el 25% de la tierra y la costa de la República Dominicana se ha preservado para parques nacionales, reservas naturales y santuarios. Y eso es exactamente lo que estoy trayendo a la mesa: amor y pasión por la preservación, compromiso con las economías circulares que dan poder a las personas y poner el foco en lo que nos hace especiales. Un corazón abierto que baila al ritmo del merengue. Soy Elian Capellán y soy una mujer de la tierra.
Some beautiful scenery there. I just would have loved to have heard a little bit more, given what these videos are supposed to be about. So we've seen a lot of childhood photos, for example. I think we got a good idea as to who she is now, but I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of what led to who she is right now, what formed that woman, so to speak. And then I kept looking at the tagline of businesswoman and model, and I was waiting. I was excited to hear something about that because to me, it's always really exciting to hear how a businesswoman can combine, or anyone in business can combine, sort of the eco initiatives of Miss Earth. But I didn't really get to hear that. So I mean, she spoke really well. She seems like a really, really kind person, happy person again. And it left me wanting more, which I guess is a good thing. But yeah, probably didn't talk, unless I missed something, in case you can bring me up if I missed it, but didn't talk so much about her childhood. But I thought it was a very good presentation overall. So yeah, Casey.
I agree with you on that. I didn't feel like I got a sense of who she was and where she'd come from. I do know who she is now and where she's going, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we want to hear more of, what you're living in your day-to-day life. But I do want to hear more about, how are you raised? Because those types of learned and taught characteristics stick with you for a lifetime. And so that's what I wish I would have learned a little bit more about that. I did at some points just find myself getting lost in the video. I would be, looking at the background or doing things. So she lost my attention in a few places, but it's nice that when I can hear, because I can hear Spanish and I know what you're wanting and know what to respond with, but I don't speak
Oh, okay.
Spanish. And so it's really nice to hear she has very clear sentences, very articulate with her Spanish as well, which obviously from being from the Dominican Republic. But I appreciated, for the parts that she kept me in on, it was good stuff. Like, she had a lot of good things that she was doing or planning to do with the earth. So yeah, I just wish I would have heard a little bit more. So hopefully in her next few videos, we'll get more details about her, and maybe in her tree video, it'll talk about why, who she is and that kind of what she's rooted from. So hopefully for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to our next one, which is Ghana.
Soy Elian Capellán y soy una mujer de la tierra.
My name is Priscilla Santi. I'm 24 years old and I am Miss Earth Ghana 2023.
I come from the beautiful eastern region of Ghana in West Africa. As a child growing up in the vibrant heart of Ghana, I was surrounded by incredible people who shaped my journey. I grew up being surrounded by the warmth of a community, and the people I lived with shaped my values of passion and kindness. These early childhood experiences instilled in me a deep love for our planet, and have fueled my commitment to fostering positive change. Growing up, the love I have for the environment was born out of the fact that my mom always encouraged me to keep my surroundings clean, and also to nature and care for Mother Earth, as the earth is our home. Now, as Miss Earth Ghana 2023, I am excited to amplify the voice of Ghana on this prestigious platform, advocating for a more sustainable and compassionate world. This opportunity means the world to me, and I can't wait to make a positive impact. It's a meaningful opportunity to inspire and make a difference. This journey is not just a pageant. Let's embark on this eco-conscious adventure together. Thank you for your support on this meaningful adventure.
Hello.
I don't know if somebody will be able to tell me, but at the beginning I was laughing because that was the Miss Earth theme song, but it sounded like she had recorded her own version of it, which if she had, I thought was really, really cool. Because you were talking the other day, like if you were a musician, use your own music, and it just sounded like she might have recorded her own version of it. I don't know. I haven't heard that version of the song before, but if someone can tell me, I thought that was really, really cool. And I didn't mind that she wasn't saying anything because I don't know, I was just drawn to that. She looked so happy. And I thought it was also really striking, if you remember the beginning, what she was wearing to like the final photos. A huge contrast. So that's nice. I would have liked to hear a little bit more about how maybe her childhood intersected with the environmentalism. I think she said talking about keeping her environment clean, which is great. But I think some of the other contestants, particularly if you think about going back to yesterday, like they've been talking about all the initiatives they've been doing and how really that's been a formative part of who they are. So I would have liked to hear a little bit more about that, but I really, really love that. I thought the photos, some of them were really, really hilarious. And overall, really, really nice. Casey.
I really liked her as a person. I think that she has another one of those, I think, just hidden gems that she
Mm,
just brings such a different light to the competition of just excitement. And I love when they show off their like the cultural dresses and the way that she dressed in the beginning. It just gave me excitement watching it. I was like, it was started on a very happy note. And so I really liked that part of it. The other thing
mm,
I'm such a stickler for is I'm going to and I'm doing are two
mm.
different things. And she had mentioned, I'm excited for the opportunities I'm going to have. And it's why not go ahead and talk about the opportunities you're getting because you're already doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm a big stickler on that because doing and thinking about are two different things. And so, but I
Yes.
really did like her. She has such a good energy to her, and her last photos are stunning. Like, look at that
Mm,
picture. She's so beautiful. Um,
yeah.
but I'm excited to see what she looks like, on stage in competition because she looks absolutely stunning. And I'm excited to see, I think she has another little, fashion flair to her. So I'm excited to see
Mm,
what her evening gown and her interview and all sorts of outfits that she brings to competition looks like. Cause I feel like she
yeah.
has a different style to her that I'm gonna really buy into. So exciting. I
Yeah.
like
I
this
think
one.
I think if there's anything like a national costume or anything that's not a gown, I think she's going to come up with something that'll be really, really stunning, given what she was wearing at
100%.
the beginning of the video. And I really hope to see that because it'd be something slightly different. I got a bunch of comments just here. So Lil Penny has said Africans can really speak, but the quality of the videos are not good, to be honest. Yeah, that is true, and you can understand that because they may not have the resources, obviously, of the Western world or a country like the Philippines, something like that, in terms of putting it into the pageantry. That's why I said I'm not really. I haven't said it today, but I should have. I don't try to judge too much on the production quality, only because I feel that's unfair to the countries who don't have the resources. And I think you could be a fantastic queen even if you haven't had the best video. Whereas someone who may not be the best queen could still produce an absolutely stunning video. So to me, I'm trying to get an idea, and I think Casey is doing this as well, trying to get an idea of who the person is through the video and not just judging on the video itself. But yeah, I certainly take your point. Miss Earth has said, Miss Earth supporters, hi guys for fourth episode. How do you feel right now? I'm excited. It's very late for me, and to be honest, I've been up the whole day, so I'm very excited. Yesterday we saw a lot of heavy hitters, and then after this, I'm probably going to go to sleep. Um, Casey, how are you feeling right now? Because she's the opposite.
I'm
She's just waking
great.
up.
I just woke up just a little bit ago, probably about 5-10 minutes before we hopped online. But I think today these are a lot of wholesome,
Mm,
kind-hearted people that we're seeing. These women come from very different backgrounds, and so it's very nice to
yeah.
see, what they think is beautiful in their environment, in their ecosystem that they're working in. But I'm feeling good. I think these ones definitely are wholesome. After yesterday was a heavy
Heavyweight.
hitter
Just
heavy
getting
hitter
punched in the
group.
face with these amazing presentations.
Man, and that's the thing is we have been, setting aside the production and looking at
Mm,
what are the words that she's giving, what are her actions she's showing in
yeah.
these videos, just trying to find the deeper little things within, the entire video that really just sell me on things. So yeah, but doing good, all in all, doing good.
Lil Penny here has Casey, are you a Miss Earth pageant expert now? How do you feel?
I f I feel like I am now. This week has been grand, international. Now we're working with Earth, and I like to get to really know each individual contestant, and this is or delegate. This is a different way to do it. I had never done it this way, so I don't know. I'm kind of sold on the Earth system now. It's something I've always known of, always heard of, and now I just feel like I'm a little bit more invested in what these women really have to do and have to say. So I actually like this system. This is a new one for me.
Uh, I'm just a load of comments. You guys are going crazy in the comments, which is good. I'm just getting lost. Um, Good evening, everyone. Forcebook has said hi, hi. Forcebook here said I find the girls of this, yeah, charming. I'm
Mhm.
thinking that there's like some sort of theme between the different days we had. I feel like yesterday we had a lot of the pageant heavyweights, and today there was one theme, wholesome, definitely, maybe also underdog as well. Like
Mhm.
these are ones that you wouldn't expect to win, but can sneak the win, like the dark horses, so to speak. What else have we got? So I think Thailand is 18. Yeah, I think trying to remember. I think Thailand was yesterday.
Mhm.
Uh, Adrian, how do you feel about Belgium pageant hopping from MI to ME? That's a difficult question to answer. People feel all kind of different ways about pageant hopping. I mean, I think there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. I think if it's look, my opinion aside, if the pageant system allows it, the pageant system allows it. If it doesn't allow it, it doesn't allow it. I don't think it's great if you're going to a different pageant every month, but I also don't think you necessarily need to lock yourself into one pageant for life. Having said that, if you really resonate with a particular pageant, and I think Miss Earth is a very clear example of that because you have an environmental advocacy. If someone came to me, I'd say, well, do Earth because that's a clear match. And I think you shouldn't underestimate that. So I don't have a strong opinion either way, if I'm honest. I don't want to dodge a question, but for me, either way you go, I'm not going to have a huge argument about it. Casey, do you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, definitely. As someone, I've done the USA system, I've done the Miss America system, I've done different internationals and national systems. It's always depending on what I like to say season or era of life you're in that really can help decide that. I mean, I've watched people go from super national to win Miss
Mm,
Grand from the
yeah,
USA that were actually from Ghana. So it's there's very different skill sets that you have coming into these different systems, but I think each one is its own individual. It's all different, and like you said, if the pageant allows it, I mean, why not? If you've already got the
yeah.
skill set that you know that you could really excel in this. I mean, another great example was Puerto Rico. She was actually Miss Florida USA, who then turned around and went to Puerto Rico, competed, and was in the top 5 or top
Mm,
3, I guess, at Miss Universe. So, I mean, if you've got the skills and you know that this is something that you really want to try for, and you do have the possible residency in other countries, or you have the backgrounding to follow it, why not chase your dreams? Who's stopping you? Might as well.
yeah, absolutely. Guys, what we might do, I'll just do this last one. Joy here said South Africa has a great presentation, clear and concise. I actually know the South African girl who we'll get to. I've interviewed her before, Belinde. Freud a really, really well-spoken girl, so I'll be recusing myself from that. What we might do is just so we can get through these videos, we'll keep. I'll circle back to you guys. If you have any questions for us, just in general, like on pageants, we'll circle back to them at the end if that's okay. And right now, we'll just get back to the video so we can get those done. Because I know that some people might be. I'm aware that some people might be tuning in and they want to see us actually discuss a particular girl. So for now, let's move on and we'll circle back to the questions later. Let's get on to Greece.
On this meaningful adventure.
Hello, I am Christiana Katsieri and I am Miss GSLS 2022. This year I represent Greece as Miss Earth Greece 2023, something that makes me feel excited and honored and proud. I'm 20 years old and I live in the beautiful city of Athens. I have graduated in beauty cosmetics and I work as a beautician. I'm also working as a model in my spare time and I like dancing and working out as well. Greece has a tremendous natural beauty. You can also find a big variety of flavors with special traditional food. Greeks are well known for their hospitality and their warmth. Additionally, Greece has a great history revealed by its many monuments all across the country. I consider the biggest environmental problem of our time the huge amount of waste, which is often not recycled and ends up in the seas polluting the flora and fauna. As a member in various groups on environmental and humanitarian purposes, I often talk about the problem and the importance of recycling. Last winter, in addition to my crowning at the GSLS National Beauty Pageant, I participated in a television project on styling and fashion. There, I talked many times about issues relating to the fast fashion culture of clothes, the clothes that are made with pieces of other clothes, as well as the need for clothing recycling, the love for diversity and the equality of women in society. As a person, I want to make use of every platform available to promote the values and importance of loving and respecting the environment. And what better than to defend these values through Miss Earth? I'm a woman of the earth.
Absolutely stunning young woman. Casey, did you want to take this one first?
Yeah, absolutely. I liked seeing all the different scenery, and I like how she was casual, but yet in other video clips she was fancy and all dressed up. And so I think it's a good representation of who people really are. They don't have to be in a gown and dressed up all the time with full face makeup. That's not realistic. And so I think she gave us a very realistic view of her. I also thought in some video clips, it may be a stretch, but in some clips where she would turn her face ever so slightly, she looked like Morgan Romano, the Miss USA that stepped up when Arbany had won Miss Universe, which I know
Who
Morgan
you've
very
interviewed,
well.
both of whom
Yeah,
you've
yes,
interviewed.
who I've interviewed. And I've known Morgan since I think I was like 17. We competed together in various systems, but she's such a nice person, just a great soul. And that's what she kind of reminded me of her. They have very similar personalities. So that was really cool to see. But I like Greece. She's very sweet. I like this one.
Yeah. She comes across as I don't remember the age, but she comes across as quite young, very bubbly. And she said a lot. She gave us a lot of details. I just would have liked, and I completely understand this is a difficult skill, but rather than just giving the details, try and weave it into a story. And I only bring that up because I think yesterday the best ones that we had, they were able to not only just give the details, but weave it into a coherent story. And that's not necessarily an easy skill, but if your aim is to be an effective communicator, it's very important that you can tell a story and then you can bring people's attention, grab people's attention. If you think back to Philippines or Colombia or a few of the videos yesterday, they weaved everything. They gave a lot of details, but it was in a story, which I think is very, very important to be able to do in a very busy social media landscape. But no, lovely young girl, lovely scenery, and she seemed quite tall as well. in some
Yeah,
of
she
those
was quite
videos. She
tall, and
looked like she
she
had
fit
to be.
perfectly in the
Yeah,
modeling industry. I think that
yeah,
she
you can
definitely
see
will
why.
excel in that as she grows older too, because she's just absolutely stunning. So very excited. Can we watch it in 1.25 or do we have to wait till they do a full upload?
We might be able to do 1.25 because I think it would have finished now. All right. So if they sound faster
Perfect.
now, it's because we're back to 1.25.
My
I was just worried if
brain
we ran
just
at
works
1.25,
fast.
we'd outdo the actual Mr. because this just premiered just like half an hour ago or something. All right. So next up is Honduras.
Defend these values through Miss Earth. I'm a woman of the earth.
Hi, my name is Adrian Gomez. I'm 19 years old. I'm currently a marketing student and part-time as a TV presenter at a local TV station here in my city. Growing up, I was born and raised here. I have 3 sisters and I live with my mom and my dad. And while growing up, I went through different stuff like bullying, but I was able to overcome those situations. And my dad had an addiction to alcohol, and thank God he was able to recover from that. And since he recovered, he started a rehab center here in my city, Cihuatepec, where he has helped so many people. He started a rehab about 3 years ago, and he opened a second location a couple of months ago, where he's been currently helping about 40 to 50 people. Every now and then when I get the chance, I like to go ahead and help him. Or when he goes to pick up people that maybe be 3-4 hours, I've always gone with him and like to help be involved in this because I know what it was like for me to go through those experiences as a child, how it affected me, and how as a family we've been able to overcome these situations. And also as a young girl, I always loved participating in pageants. And even though I wasn't picked due to the bullying I went through, that I never gave up on those things that I like. And I actually participated about a couple months ago at a local pageant here in my city, where it was about the Pine Festival, something about the environment that I like. And being in that pageant, I was able to win the opportunity to go to the Miss Honduras Universe, the big pageant here. And I was able to enter the top 10, which is one of my goals, which is something that got me so excited that I didn't think I would be able to do at the age of 19. And now I have won the title of Miss Earth Honduras, and I will be having the pageant in Vietnam in a couple of weeks or months. And it just gets me excited to be able to experience that. I've always been someone who loved learning about different cultures, being around different people, learning about history. It's something I always loved as a young girl. History has always been my main thing, plus also learning about cultures and all that other stuff. With my parents, we would ride to different cities, and I always liked learning about different stuff because even in Honduras, each city has its own uniqueness, and that's what I always liked. And I also liked participating and volunteering at this local dog shelter and being able to help other dogs because my dogs are actually adopted. I picked up one from the street a couple years ago. She lives with me, and I also love being able to see how we can improve in that area. So thank you very much.
I think this young girl is going to be someone to watch in the very near future. I just got I mean, she seems to have just spoken that without any script whatsoever, and yet she was still engaging. She seemed like a really, really genuine young lady, someone whose service is important to her. And obviously, she's overcome bullying, and she spoke about her father overcoming alcoholism and then opening up a rehab center. She seems a little young at the moment, and we didn't see any footage of her on stage or anything like that. And in some of the other videos, I maybe criticized that, but I found her quite very engaging to listen to. So I'm going to be really interested to see how Ariana does in the future. Maybe she's not quite experienced enough yet. I get the feeling she's young, but she seems absolutely a beautiful person and someone who's quite ambitious and very empathetic, looking to learn. She's talking about different cultures and her love of history, which would be absolutely perfect for a pageant queen. Those are my thoughts. A bit of an unusual one, this video. Casey?
Yeah, I agree. I do think that she's very young, but she's eager to learn more about the industry of pageantry. With her being a TV presenter and marketing student, I did expect just a little bit more just because I know I work with Pageant Vision TV. I've been doing
Yeah.
pageants for 19 years. So as someone who's just been in it a while, it's kind of like a mental routine. Like I already know what to expect. But I think with just a little bit of polishing, she is
Mm.
going to go so far in just competing in pageantry as a whole. And in her story, I was trying to understand a little bit of it sounds like she placed top 10 and
Yeah.
then she went on or she placed top 10 at Earth and then now has the Earth title. So I wonder what that transitional period looked like, and
Yeah.
how she ultimately ended up with the title, and what, what has kind of taught her, what she's learned from it, just a little bit more. I did like hearing about the family situation. I liked hearing that obviously she has parents that are very influential in their community as well. So we know that that'll be a good skill that she has instilled with her. So I'm excited. Yeah, I think this one is going to be one to watch, definitely,
Mm.
in the near future as well. I think that she's going to bring a lot of light to Honduras for the future.
Yeah. Forcebook here has said, yeah, I agree. She gives me Morgan vibes. This is about
Yes.
was about Greece, I think.
Greece.
And Lil Penny here has said Gen Z with 1.25 speed. Yeah, I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing. I think it's more of an ADHD thing. Just we're used
Yes.
to. I generally watch things at 1.25 speed. Otherwise, I can't. I just can't. So I'm sorry if it's hard. But you can watch this later and slow it down. But yeah, I apologize for that. It's just the way our brains work. It's just like it needs to speed up. Otherwise, we might find it hard to. It sounds terrible, but it's the brain. It's the way it is. Okay, so that was Honduras, and next up is Mongolia.
To see how we can improve in that area. So thank you very much.
In the heart of Asia's was Plateau, home to the real and true nomads, people that have their roots and traditions interwoven with nature. I am Miss Earth Mongolia 2023 Mukchimik Batrao, and I am one of the voices that speak on behalf of Mother Nature. Born into a family blessed with the love of two remarkable parents and two older brothers, I was raised on the pillars of wisdom and compassion. From them, I learned the values of humility and empathy, the significance of extending a helping hand to those in need. These invaluable lessons have sculpted the woman I've become, a scholar with a profound sense of societal responsibility. In my formative years, my family's nurturing embrace allowed me to explore numerous interests, from ballet to boxing to archery and the wonders of science. Curiosity led me to embark on a journey into the realm of chemical engineering, a profession that not only unveils the marvels of science, but equips me with the means to make a meaningful contribution to society. However, my heart has always resonated with a deeper calling to ensure the well-being of my society and to touch the lives of others positively. This inner fire propelled me towards becoming a globally certified educator specializing in soft skills. With over 8 years of experience, I have had the privilege of influencing more than 10,000 individuals through seminars, workshops, and counseling sessions. My mission remains steadfast to empower others, nurturing resilience and cultivating a positive outlook on life. In an age of unprecedented technological advancement, I firmly believe that as we journey toward the future, we must remain grounded, cherishing the natural wonders that envelop us. The fragile equilibrium of our ecosystem stutters as we advance technologically, making it my duty to embrace sustainable practices, safeguard our environment, and conserve our invaluable resources. Today's actions shape tomorrow's world, and it is my solemn responsibility to leave behind a legacy of environmental stewardship for the generations yet to come. Nature, with its boundless beauty, stands as my greatest teacher. My strength flows from the earth, water, air, fire, and every living entity that graces our world.
Well, Casey, as a fellow engineer, female engineer, would you like to take that one first?
I loved this video. I think that she sold the story to me. I enjoyed all of her clips from different conferences and then being on stage and then being a presenter. So it shows that she has the ability to speak in front of large crowds.
Mm.
She has the ability to influence those around her to, buy into whatever she's trying to sell them. And that's something as a pageant queen, those skills, you either have them or you don't. And it's
Yeah.
sometimes those are really, really difficult to learn. And to already have that as a title holder is amazing. She's very, very intelligent. She obviously, you can see all the different awards on the wall behind her. She's also the chemical engineer. But it was quite interesting because she looked like she was also a walking coach of some sort.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see her on-stage performance. I think that she's going to come in as a total package, and I did not expect this. Obviously, coming from a different Asian culture and country, pageantry is such a huge, huge thing. So from Mongolia, I expected nothing less. But I wasn't ready for it, and I'm very excited. I think definitely this is that you called it the dark horse group
Yeah.
kind of thing. These are the
Yeah.
hidden gems that, they're on the bubble. My mom and I, when we, verbally judge pageantry, like watching Miss Universe, Miss USA, we called this group like the on the bubble of they could
Yeah.
totally win the whole thing, and
Yeah.
I would be absolutely okay with it, or they're gonna make that top and you just didn't even see it coming, and you just never know. And I like this one. I'd put her up with Colombia and the Philippines in a skinny second. I liked her.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like we've gone back to yesterday all of a sudden, and this is another heavyweight presentation that's sort of come out a bit of left field. I don't even think I'd call Mongolia a dark horse. I think she's a contender given everything. I mean, the thing that really staggered me was I love the opening with a with that instrument because that immediately grabs your attention, so you're hooked. And then you're watching her doing the walking coaching, and she's glamorous, she's statuesque. And then you see some other ones where she's literally, glasses, no makeup, and then she talks about 10,000 students that she's spoken to or influenced, and it's just, what have you not done? And you're an
Yeah.
engineer. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
So
I tell you, it's us engineers that we can do anything we put our mind to, and I know Adrian, you're the same way. We have that. I don't know if it's like a mental capacity or what it is, but we are able to wear so many different hats in life that people are just like, I don't know when you sleep. I don't know when you do this, and I just do
Are
it.
are you
There's no
sure it's
really
the
question.
engineering or is it the ADHD? See, that's an
We probably
honest
all have a
question.
little bit of ADHD. Yes.
So, guys, if you don't know, I've had a recent potential diagnosis of ADHD. It doesn't really surprise me. So it's fascinating for me to kind of work out, oh, that's because of the ADHD and this is not. So I'm in the middle of all that. But whenever I meet someone like Casey or someone I get along with very well, and it seems like they all have ADHD, I'm like, maybe that's a clue. But I don't think Mongolia is a dark horse. I think I put her up there with the best videos, just as accomplished as
Mhm.
yesterday. Absolutely amazing. Very well spoken. All right. Well, that's a hard act to follow. We're going to move on to Nepal.
Air, fire, and every living entity that graces our world.
As a child, I was known for my modesty and reserved demeanor, but my thoughts were always expansive, constantly seeking the bigger picture in life. The thirst to do more and achieve more was ingrained in me from a very young age by my parents, driving me to pursue my dream of becoming a professional airline pilot that I am today. As I had my own share of struggle, I held on to my unwavering belief in myself. I stood tall and pursued my dream with determination and great diligence as I completed my studies from South Africa and France. Pushing my boundaries while exploring my limits, I was crowned the title of Miss Nepal Earth 2023. I have had the privilege of witnessing the Earth's beauty from high above. From this vantage point, no problem appears impossible. As we gaze at the grand plains in the sky, I see every object below as minuscule, reminding me that nothing is insurmountable. Home to Mount Everest, the highest mountain of the world. Nepal's landscape ranges from subtropical lowlands to alpine wilderness, offering unparalleled adventures, wildlife, flora, fauna, and rich cultural heritage. I aspire to become the change that we all want to see in the world. With a deep love for nature and a strong commitment to driving positive change, I, Reina Mazgaya, proudly represent Nepal as a daughter of this earth, aiming for the crown and beyond.
I feel like we're finishing off with a bang here. Casey, do you want to take that one first?
That was a quite impressive video as a whole. I mean,
Hmm.
we didn't learn a lot of like the childhood stuff. We didn't see a lot of that, but we just saw someone that is really about change. She wants
Yeah.
to see greater in the world, and I thoroughly just enjoyed the video as a whole. Um,
Mm.
I really liked her, and I like her determination to become a pilot. That is a very difficult task and takes many, many,
Yes.
many hours to
Yeah.
accomplish. And so I I really like her. I'd throw her up there with Colombia, Philippines,
Mm.
Mongolia, some of the heavy hitters. I think that this was a video that could stand up against Mongolia video as well. This was a really well done production. I get we're not looking for production, but you can just see she has a good heart and she is a leader that is willing
Yeah.
to break out into any environment that she can break into. So
Yeah,
I like her.
you can kind of hear that inner steel and determination in her voice. And I don't know I mean, she said that she studied overseas in multiple countries, but in general, pilot is a very male dominated industry. And Casey would know this, being, working in aerospace, and I studied aeronautical engineering. Piloting is exactly the same. So that immediately tells you that this young woman has a bit of steel, or a lot of steel in her, because it's not a very female friendly industry. So even though she didn't say that much, you can sort of read into it just because she's a pilot. And I think you can hear that she's someone who really wants to make a change. So, wow, we're finishing off with a bang.
I also
Guys, I
think
will.
with a little
There
side
you go,
one before
Casey.
we jump into
Yep.
more comment stuff, but I think with her, a really cool aspect that they could have is, since she is a pilot, I always think of like the little things that can benefit for a system. She can fly herself to anywhere she needs to fly herself to. Bingo. Like if she wants to go do a huge conference in the US talking about different things, bingo, she's a pilot. So that's the things that I like to think about. What are ways that you can better a system that they may not have even thought about? So like when I was competing still, I was thinking about, okay, I'm not coming in with followers. I'm coming in with people that believe in me and
Mhm.
believe in what, I can do for a system, whether it be marketing, social media, any sort of like different aspect, just the network that you come in with. I think being a pilot or stewardess, it really does help, because then you can get to all of those different states, all of those different countries just a little bit easier than competition can. And so that was always like my side idea, that if my job never worked out, I will become this. Like I would become a flight attendant or a pilot of some sort, so then I can easily be accessible to the entire world and not only just the US. So that's just a weird random background thought, but yeah.
I really want to know whether she flies private or like commercial airliners. I'll look this up and find out. You guys are having a massive argument in the comment section, are you? What's going on? Talking about Philippines. Okay, Philippines, very strong. You guys will have to start working out who you're going to go for. There's been some very strong videos, and obviously that doesn't necessarily translate into the onstage performance, which is a very important part. But I do get the feeling that the strongest videos that we've seen are also going to kill it on stage. I just get that feeling. So it's going to be a tough competition this year. And guys, if you have any questions for us at the end, let us know. We're just going to try and get through these videos. Next up, Poland.
Daughter of this earth, aiming for the crown and beyond.
Hello everyone, my name is Eva Jakubiec and I have a great honor to represent my beautiful country Poland and this year's edition of Miss Earth 2023 final in Vietnam. I'm 26 years old nurse with specialization in anesthesiology and I'm a student of public health at Medical University of Wrocław. I also started MBA studies in health management. Education is one of the most important values in my life. I'm voluntary and ambassador of various charitable and health campaigns. For example, Touch Win, a campaign about breast cancer prevention, or Say Yes to Family Health, a campaign about health prevention. I try to use my voice and platform to promote important charitable initiatives. It is my mission during my reign as a Miss Bologna 2023. I also work as a model. I had opportunity to be on a few covers in magazine and to be on a catwalk for famous designers. In my free time, I ride a motorcycle. My biggest dream is trip on Australia. In the future, I want to open my own business in medical industry. Today, I'm on very special photoshoot for charitable calendar of Color for World Foundation. My co-model will be Hania, a wonderful 14 years old mentee. on the foundation. Let's see what's happening on set.
Hello, everyone.
There have been a couple of past Miss Earth queens who ride motorcycles. It's always kind of a very cool thing. Lindsay Coffey, who won back in 2020 for the States, she's quite famous for having a motorcycle thing. And I've interviewed the Danish girl from 2 years back. She also had a thing for motorcycles. I love the video. I just wanted to hear a little bit more about her, who she was, what made her want to go into pageantry, and I think also just for Miss Earth, like a little bit as to what parts of the environmentalism she's interested in. I understand it's not the advocacy video, but I just feel like I wanted to know a little bit more about her, which is why I thought it was cool when I saw the motorcycle, because I immediately sort of read into that, okay, so this girl's got maybe a bit of a rebellious streak or something like that. But I just would have loved to hear a little bit more about that side of her. And obviously it looks like she's doing, I think this is some kind of charity work. I couldn't quite hear it, but she looks like she's a very kind person as well. Casey?
No, I agree with all of that. I do wish we could have learned a little bit more about her. I think that she has many different sides to her that I think would be exciting to really tap into. But obviously, great with charity work, does all of that. But I would have liked to hear more about her Earth initiatives as well. I agree. Yep. So next up, we have Romania.
And then, so we've only got 4 more, guys. We're almost to
Oh,
how many?
almost there.
Can someone in the comments tell us how many countries are competing in Miss Earth this year? Because I think it's going to be about 80 by the time we're done. All right, let's move on to Romania.
Hello, everyone. I'm Georgiana Popescu, your Miss Romania 2023. I am a model and I work in the financial system. I am an ambitious, determined, empathic, and very charismatic person. I finished the Faculty of Public Administration and a Master degree in Public Sector Management in 2021. This year, I completed my second Master degree in European Union Law in Bucharest. Also, I am a volunteer in the Chamber of Deputies and for various environmental associations. The best knows begins Save Romania's forests. I'm 26 years old. This is the age when I'm living the best moment of my life, with many people who believe in me and new opportunities. I was born in the city of Pitești and grew up in a very loving family. Being the only child of my parents, they focused on my education and value. I fondly remember all of the holidays at the Black Sea or in the mountains with my parents, uncles, and cousins. My family always instilled in me care for the environment and nature and support. Since childhood, along years, we went for a run through the forest or went on an expedition to the mountains. I like it the most when hiking on the Transfăgărășan, which is a Romanian route that starts in Bascov village near the city of Pitești, crossing the Făgăraș mountain, the highest in Romania, which are part of the Southern Carpathians. Or when I spend Christmas with my family in Bucur, a mountain area very close to my hometown. Representing Romania at Miss Earth is a great honor and responsibility, and my advocacy is to campaign for the preservation and protection of our environment with environmental education, to be able to bring a chance and be a voice for my generation, to make them aware of how important Mother Earth is and how necessary it is to be careful with our fauna and flora, because our health is put at risk if you do not respect our environment and our land. At the same time, I put a lot of emphasis on raising an alarm signal on the illegal deforestation of forests and leaving waste to change without having an education in this regard. Each of us is responsible for our personal actions and certain steps inside everyone's future, and that is why it is important to realize that the environment is our home for all of us, and we must take care of it. I am a woman of the earth. Thank you.
Hi.
I don't know if that was just me. I found it a little bit difficult to hear what she was saying. Did you have the same issue, Casey?
Yeah, and I just got lost. As you could see, I started dancing because I was just more invested in the music. She's a beautiful girl. She had really great scenery, but I enjoyed the childhood videos or childhood pictures. And my favorite one, I think, was her McDonald's childhood birthday. I don't know if you noticed that. They had the Hamburglar in the background, and I am someone who loves McDonald's. Every country I've been to the McDonald's. I've been to McDonald's in Paris, McDonald's in Portugal, McDonald's in Spain. Don't you worry. If it's got a McDonald's, I'm there. But
You're so
yeah,
American.
I know, very American. I got very lost in this video, and
Yeah.
I couldn't buy into it. And I think that in the beginning she talked about being in the financial district as well as she's a professional model, which was I think a great thing to tap into because those are two totally different
Mm.
worlds. I wish we could have heard more a little bit about that. I heard parts of the Earth Initiative that she has, but I just
Yeah.
really got lost in the video and I was just more focused on the visuals, not as much as
Yeah.
the audio, but I couldn't hear a lot of it. If I could have heard it, I think I would have been more invested. But I think she's beautiful and I hope to see more of her in the future.
Yeah. So, guys, I've said this before, but you really need to watch the music. It's better that the music be a bit too quiet than too loud because obviously we're not here to judge the music. Music is very important, but I just found it difficult to hear what Georgina was saying. I think she was talking about the second degree that she had gotten, and I wanted to hear that because having 2 degrees is an amazing thing. And then yeah, it was just a bit hard to hear what she was saying. I agree with Casey. I love the visuals, and when she was talking about hiking, I mean that looked absolutely amazing. But if you guys are ever putting together a video yourself, or you have the chance to work with a pageant girl who wants a video done, be very, very, very careful about how loud you turn the music up, and listen back to it on different devices because it will sound different on big speakers versus headphones like this versus what AirPods Casey has, and you just really because you put a lot of hard work into videos like this and you don't want it to be like we can't hear you because that's a real shame. But yeah, hopefully we'll learn more about Georgina as we progress. Let's move on to Singapore.
Care of it. I am a woman of the earth. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Asenov and I am Miss Earth Singapore 2023. Growing up as an only child, I was blessed to receive much love and care from my family. People around me have always told me that I was a cheerful and bright girl, always carrying a big smile on my face. My hobbies include pole dancing, bouldering, and brewing coffee. Miss Earth Singapore was my first beauty pageant, and through this pageant, I was not only able to contribute to advocating about the environment and mental awareness, but I was also able to gain more confidence in myself and be proud of who I am. When I heard my name being called, it all felt so surreal, and when the crown was placed on my head, all I could feel was the immense gratitude and love to everyone who has helped and supported me on my journey. I feel proud to represent my country in Miss Earth 2023 and will continue to play my part to raise awareness for the environment.
Well, I mean, she brews coffee, so that's bonus points probably from the both of us. I would have liked to hear a little bit more about who she was. I thought it was a very, very good video. I thought the ending was a little bit abrupt, but overall, I think that's again. I think the theme of tonight has been sort of wholesome slash underdog. I mean, we've seen a couple of very, very powerful presentations. But I think at this stage, it's tough when you're kind of the last video because to stand out after we've seen 75 videos or whatever it is, I understand that it's tough and in some ways it's unfair. But yeah, really, story is really, really important. And I think she did a good job with that. And I'll be looking forward to probably finding out more about her. But definitely, I think someone to watch as a competition progresses. AC.
I agree with that. I think as the competition progresses, we're going to see a different side of her in such a positive light. I wonder, again, another one of those, does Singapore have a group crowning of multiple pageants? Because there was a few crowning girls on stage.
Yeah.
I'm invested in that now.
This
I
is
want
your
to know
fascination
because
now.
yes, because the US, we have so many pageants to go around. Every corner, every weekend, every week, there is a new pageant showing up, and we don't do a group crowning of really anything. I think maybe the grand group that does it for the US they do eco and supranational, but they're all individually separate, but they do come under the same house for all of them. But I'm just so fascinated by that. So I just wonder a little bit about that. We got a little bit into her childhood, but I just needed
Yeah.
more. I needed more. I think she's beautiful. I think she has a lot to give. She's a data science and business analytics person. So I love me
Wow.
some analytics. I love some numbers. So I just wish we could see more. But next up, we have South Africa and then Venezuela. So interesting round out for us.
And Forcebook has said 86 countries. 86.
Oh,
It's a lot.
we went through
That's a lot of.
86 of these videos.
Oh no, not so. We've only done 84 so far. Hopefully, we'll
Oh,
make
yeah,
it to 86.
2 more. Trying to make it to 86.
All right. So, wish us luck. Now, 85th is going to be South Africa. Now, I've interviewed Belinda before, so I'll recuse myself, but I am excited to see what she's put together. So, South Africa.
And will continue to play my part to raise awareness for the environment.
In the heart of the Rainbow Nation, South Africa, where vibrant cultures blend with the untamed beauty of the African bushveld, unfolds a remarkable journey. It's the story of a woman rooted in nature, blossoming on the international stage.
I am your Miss Earth South Africa 2023, Belinda Scherer, and I'm a woman of the earth. Born in Alisras, a small farming town, my upbringing in large South African families instilled deep appreciation for heritage, unity, and our environment. My grandfather, called Crocodile Dundee number 2, ignited my passion for nature. As an ambassador for Adventures with Elephants and the Rory Hensman Conservation and Research Unit, my focus is on safeguarding elephants and rhinos from poaching and habitat loss. From the barefoot girl of nature to international status, my journey has seamlessly blended glamour and the environment. This beautiful harmony was fully realized when I joined the Miss Earth South Africa family, participating in projects such as tree planting, river and park cleanups, community education, and feeding the less fortunate. As a holder of a diploma in public relations and a dedicated third-year communications student at UNISA, my profound enthusiasm for effective communication aligns seamlessly with my remarkable journey across 11 diverse countries. I'm also a skilled makeup artist, adding creativity to my skill sets. I aim to raise awareness, to inspire action, and to educate the youth. This dedication led me to write Eco Heroes of the Savannah Land, a children's book that educates and inspires about the 5 R's and conservation. Proud to be a strong, resilient, and compassionate South African woman, I greet you, na Belinda Scherer, ke emelua sechava sa merafe rafe ya Afrika Borwa.
Such poor Belinda with that wind. Oh, I could that one scene where she was blowing everyone was like, oh, poor girl, because there's nothing you can do about that. But to give you some context, because as I said, I've interviewed Belinda. So Belinda has represented her country or South Africa on the international stage, I think 3 or 4 times previous to this. So she has serious pageant cred. She's done very well. She's a makeup artist. She's a modeling coach as well. And I don't know, Casey, how much you know about South Africa, but very often they call it like, it's like power rationing. I can't remember what they call it. They give it a name that doesn't sound like that. But basically, the power will only come on for a certain amount of the day. And then after that, they turn the power off because they don't have enough power to go around. And the government over there is a bit of a struggle. And when I interviewed her, she set up the whole interview on power banks. So the laptop, the ring lights, everything. And she had to get up at 5 a.m. to get ready because after that, the power was going to go out. So, and I know this wasn't in the video, but just to give you some context, I think you've got a underdog or very serious contender here because she's had a lot of pageant experience. She obviously speaks very well, stunning girl to look at, but she's got a will of steel. You have to be if you're coming from South Africa because sometimes you live in the middle of winter and you've only got power for 8 hours in the day and you have to make it look effortless. But yeah, I won't give Belinda a mark, but those are my thoughts on her. I'm happy to see that she's here for Miss Earth. I was going to say Miss Earth South Africa. Miss Earth. Getting confused. 85th video. We're almost there. Casey, please stop me from talking.
No, you're great. I really enjoyed this video. She was able to tell a story. To know that she has good pageant creds is a good thing. I think that she will definitely be up there in those top groups because she knows what it takes to be at that international level. And that's a big deal that you have to know. Like, you got to know that you know what it takes to be there because they're looking for someone that can hit the ground running before they even have the title, making sure they're doing stuff with that earth environmental side of things, which I think she really does. She's living that. Another one that's living the title. And so I really like her so far. I'm excited to see more from her. I like her.
Absolutely. If you go and look at Belinda's Instagram, you'll see a couple of photos of her right up with these elephants, which are huge, obviously. Actually, quite intimidating when I think of it. But yeah, no, someone who's certainly walking the walk. All right, Casey, last one. Venezuela.
Yay!
No pressure on Venezuela. Here we go, pageant powerhouse.
Africa Borwa.
Hi, I'm Joscarin Smiller. I have 27 years old. I'm industrial engineer and represent my precious country, Venezuela.
Ever since I can remember, modeling has been the core of my existence. Once I had the opportunity to represent Venezuela in the national volleyball team, and luckily, we became 5-time champions. Thanks to this passion, I decided to contribute to the education and putting a smile on children with physical disabilities, allowing them to have access to the necessary tools for them to be able to access sport, to improve their qualities of life. Neurosport has a main object to remove the barrier for them to be integrated in the society. I also share and teach tools to teenagers that focus in strengthening authenticity and self-confidence to transform their realities in order to inspire people around them to preserve Mother Earth. I understand how much it doesn't mean to lose someone of importance. I lost my father and I became depressed, so I decided to migrate from my country, which was the toughest decision I ever made because your home and your family can't fit in your bags. I overcame this hard experience by working for my goals, so I became a national model and worked for some novels and big advertising campaigns. My mother was my strength to keep going. She taught me the meaning of take action in every aspect of my life. This experience made me feel prepared to be in this contest and triumph in the name of God.
I believe that our planet needs more than ever a woman that inspires people to connect with their purpose, ready to make a positive impact with the community. And as a part of the global movement, serving, preserving, protecting Mother Earth, and lifting awareness among people.
Well, we made it. Casey, were you all right? Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. I could still hear it as I ran away. Housekeeping came into my hotel room.
I figured as much. But look, rounding it out, I think on a high note there, Venezuela, I don't think it's any of you guys watching that Venezuela is a huge pageant powerhouse. The only thing I would say is she didn't talk so much about the environmental side of things. This video is not really supposed to be about that. I would have liked to hear a little bit more about her history with environmentalism, but a very good athlete. I think it was volleyball from the looks of it, and someone who's worked with disadvantaged children, which is something that I've done with tennis, working with children, particularly with Down syndrome. That takes a lot of patience, a lot of discipline. Again, it's one of those things you just show, and certain people can or immediately tell what sort of person you are. You also have to be very kind. And then, as she said, she lost her father, must have been at a young age because she's still only young now. And then that made her decide to migrate to another country and overcome that depression and become an international model. So I think, again, someone to watch. Absolutely, absolutely inspiring story. But Casey, take it away.
I think this was a great one to end on. I mean, Venezuela is a pageant powerhouse. This is another country that really just they have it going on, and that's the best part of it. So I think it's just quite interesting. And I think Venezuela also just won Miss International. If I could be wrong.
You guys
Yes,
tell us in the comments.
I think it was as I pull up my Instagram to the post that I made. Yes. So Venezuela just won Miss International. So quite interesting there. We've already got one international title holder for the country this year. So I think that she's going to be a great competitor at the Miss Earth competition happening in just a few short months. I do hope to see more about her eco initiative and Earth initiative in her other videos, but a well-done production. She speaks very clearly. She is very intelligent. And like you said, you have to have patience. I think she has a kind heart. She's a very patient person. But she knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to go after it, even if that means leaving her country, leaving her home. She knows what is best for her. And so being independent like that is something that people really look for in a queen. And I think this was a great one to end on. But today overall, I think definitely Mongolia, Nepal was one of my other favorites, South Africa, Venezuela. Yeah, those are some of my top favorites from just today. And
Yeah.
this has been a great introduction to all of these delegates for the past few days. So I really quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, guys, what's going to happen now with Miss Earth is that starting next week, I believe they will do another series of videos. I'm not sure which ones they're planning to do next week. I know there's eco initiatives. The theme of this year is trees. So I know the girls aren't dressing up as trees because I was a little bit worried about that. But they will be having videos, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything here, but the women all have to pick a tree from their country that's sort of unique to their country. So for us Australians, it'd be very easy to pick, for example, a gum tree, the one that the koalas or the drop bears that we like to tell the tourists the koalas sit in, which are actually extremely dangerous. I put a TikTok about that. But yeah, you're going to find out more about the contestants, their eco initiatives, their countries over the coming weeks. And a reminder that these are marked and scored, and that will go some way to determining who's in the semi-final. I don't know the weightings or the final weightings, what they will be, but I have to submit the scores to Miss Earth, which I will do. Obviously, thank you to Casey for your time. And just go back through the comments quickly. Ralph here said, catch you both next time. South Africa and Philippines have the best advocacies. Venezuela gives me supranational vibes, not Earth, to be honest. That's probably fair, but that might change again as you see the other videos. It's very early stages yet, but definitely I think we've seen some really strong presentations. Well, for me today, because I did the day 3 ones earlier today, so I've done like 40 videos today, and a lot of, put it this way, I wouldn't be surprised if the eventual title holder came from either yesterday's videos or maybe even today's videos. That's if I was a betting man, that's the way I'd be going. But for me, I'm going to say good night. I thank you to everyone for watching. It's gone midnight here. Casey, what are you up to for the rest of the day?
I am packing up and driving back to North Carolina, so I have about a 4-hour drive. I finished up my week here in South Carolina working on some things, so now I'm headed back home. That's what I'm doing next.
Cool. Have you got that really long drive again?
Yes, we love a long drive because that means I get in a lot of my favorite tunes, catch up on a lot of my favorite podcast episodes. So very excited for that. But yeah, this has been great, and I've appreciated being a part of this. Next time we'll have to catch you on my channel. We'll be doing more visuals and representations and presentations of all the Miss Earth delegates for this year. So definitely check that out on Crowning Moment Podcast. And I'll be doing some clips on Instagram as well.
Absolutely. Do you want to take this very, very last question to wrap us up?
Oh.
Can you remember? So, oh my God, I can't.
Let's see.
Yeah, yesterday were I remember Philippines, Colombia, Vietnam. There was another one there as well. And then thinking, I'll look at my own Instagram because I've been putting up sort of my favorites from the individual days. So
yeah,
what's
I've got my top. Yeah, I've got my top ones in no particular order. It's more than 3, but I've got Netherlands, Spain, Thailand. Then I have the Philippines, Colombia, and then today I had Mongolia. Those are my top favorites. I don't know if that was 5 or 6, but those ones really shocked me with a close countering in, I think, from Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Nepal, other big heavy hitters, as well as South Africa.
I think if you had to ask me for my top 3, if I'm only allowed 3, I think by a small margin I'd go back to yesterday and say Philippines, Colombia, and Vietnam. That's my bet. But it's very early days yet, guys. And remember to be kind to everyone. Just if your favorite doesn't win, don't go on a rant on social media. It's not a good look. I know most of you are lovely people, but every now and then I get some weird comments underneath my stuff, and I'm like, we don't need this. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. We will leave it there. Obviously, follow Miss Earth on their socials to keep up to date with the videos as they drop. And again, thank you to Miss Earth for the opportunity, and thank you to the director of Miss Earth USA, Laura Clark, for setting this up. But we will say good night, keep safe, and we will speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.